The genius and brilliance of the scripts written by William Shakespeare, 1564–1616, are issues that drag on in academic circles for years. Some believe that the name would not be of one person, but rather the denomination of a group of authors who met to create captivating stories for the audience of the time, in the best molds of a team of television novelists. Others already think that the signature hit a kind of secret society of writers who, fearing to appear in public, created their stories and used the pseudonym to hide their true identity. Maybe everyone is right, as well as wrong at the same time. The official life of the writer is indeed very confusing and somewhat vague, but known by most academics. Let's do a quick recap. Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, where he became known worldwide as the national poet of England and as the Bard of Avon. Of his works, 38 plays, 154 sonnets, 2 long narrative poems, and several other poems remained. Many of his texts are often revisited by theater, TV, cinema, and literature, undergoing reinterpretations and deep analyses. From his life, we know that at 18, he married Anne Hathaway, who gave him 3 children, Susanna and the twins, Hamlet and Judith. Between 1585 and 1592, he began a successful career in London as an actor, writer, and one of the owners of the theatre company Lord Chamberlain's Men, later known as King's Men. He would have returned to his hometown around 1613 and died there 3 years later. Few records of his life remained, which gave rise to speculation about what his real physical appearance, sexuality, religious beliefs, and whether he had not been helped or even replaced by other authors. Until the 18th century, no one would contest the authenticity of the works. When it began to be questioned, and the question dragged on for a long time, it was in 1903 by the novelist Henry James, 1843 to 1916, one of the main figures of realism in 19th century literature. Here is James's statement at the time. "I am convinced, almost to the point of obsession, that good William is the greatest and most successful fraudster who ever played with human patience." Other writers, politicians, and scientists began to manifest in favor of this controversial opinion, and the confusion was armed. If we disregard some older and obscure opinions, the first person who tried to prove Shakespeare's farce was one William Henry Smith, who claimed that works like the famous play Hamlet were actually written by the politician and philosopher Francis Bacon, 1561–1626. For him, his theory was supported by parallel statistical traces between the play and Bacon's other writings. Many people agreed with him. A Lady Henry Pott claimed to have discovered no less than more than 4,000 similarities between Bacon's texts and Shakespeare's. Others, who considered this as a kind of delirium, said that such coincidences boiled down to the use of common everyday expressions, such as good morning and amen, quite common and used by all writers of the time. Those who began to question the authorship of the Shakespearean plays came to be called anti-Stratfordians. The interesting thing is to note that they were a group of considerable size and, over the years, indicated about 60 genuine Shakespeares. One of them, besides Bacon, who was always quoted, was Edward de Vere, Earl of Oxford. One of the most frantic defenders of this theory was none other than the father of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud, 1856–1939, who came to interpret psychoanalytically the dramas of Shakespeare and changed the dates of his